Greetings everybody and welcome to Madrid Ball. I hope you all are safe and sound. Real Madrid have been triumphant at the Benito Villamarin. They go top of the table with a victory against Real Betis, but as we had expected, Betis didn't allow Real Madrid to run away with the game. It wasn't the most comfortable performance, but we can say that Real Madrid were a little better than the opposition. Especially in the second half, we turned it on. It was chaotic at times, there were many fouls committed, so it was quite a physical game, but in the end Real Madrid got the elusive goal which fetched them all the 3 points, and when the dust settles, that is what you want. It was an away game. In fact, it was the third away game on the trot, so we can say that Real Madrid have done a good job accumulating 7 points out of 9, and Ancelotti and co would be pleased to have overcome the challenge of Real Betis. So in this video, we will be looking at the standout performance of the game. We'll also talk about the issues that were brought to light yesterday. So without further ado, let's get started. And having a look at the lineup, the selection of Ancelotti was pretty much expected. There was Courtois in goal. In the back line, we had Carvajal, Militao, Alaba and Miguel. In the midfield, we had Valverde, Casemiro and Isco. In attack, Vinicius Jr. got the green light over Eden Hazard, and alongside him were Gareth Bale and Karim Benzema. And before moving forward, let's quickly do the first shout out of the season. Mr. Andrew predicted 1-0 in favour of Madrid, and I congratulate you for getting the scoreline correct. But anyways, talking about the lineup, this is something that we all were expecting. There were very limited options for Ancelotti to choose from. In attack, we knew it was going to be one of Hazard or Vinicius, and especially in defence, the absence of Nacho meant that we would either get to see one of Vallejo or Miguel on the pitch, and in the end the selection of Miguel turned out to be the correct one. It was a good night for Miguel, and many of his qualities were on show in the game. He is one of the most exciting prospects from the youth team, and you could see why he is so highly rated. Not only was he instrumental in the only goal that Real Madrid got, but throughout the match it was a busy and industrious performance from the youngster. And I won't say that the performance was perfect or flawless. Maybe in the first half he was a bit clumsy, even a bit rash at times. He got the yellow card there, but since that incident he started playing more carefully. He looked more focused, more aware, and I again liked what I saw from Gutierrez. He does what the manager demands of him. He was actively participating in attack. He was linking up with Vinicius. At times he made those overlapping runs. He put in a very good cross for Vinicius as well. So overall we can say it was a performance worthy of being noted. But talking about the first half in general, it was quite an even half of football, and in a few phases I'd even say that Betis edged out Real Madrid. The midfield of Sergio Canales and Guido Rodriguez was dominating in the middle. I also remember that Pellegrini took a very attacking approach with the fullbacks. You could see that both the fullbacks, Martin Montoya and Juan Miranda, were getting involved in attack. They were putting a lot of pressure on Carvajal and Gutierrez. Maybe it was one of the tactics to push back the wide defenders. They had the strategy of pressurizing the fullbacks, and especially on the left, you could see Carvajal was getting flustered. He lost position many times. He was uncharacteristically misplacing passes, and although Carvajal got the goal, he was looking a bit rusty in the first half. Him and Miranda were having a nice battle going on, and fortunately enough, those wayward passes didn't turn out to be costly for Madrid. The other approach that I also noticed was that Betis were trying to exploit the high line that Madrid had kept. The midfielders of Betis were trying to get the ball over the back line and find the man running in behind. They took out the midfield and the defense of Real Madrid through those long balls, and maybe if Betis had more quality and clinicality going forward, they could have got more of the chances that they had created. This play, as you see in the 40th minute, was a classic example of how this was being played out. Sergio Canales found Juanmi with the ball over the top. The defense of Madrid was scrambling to cope up with the move. Juanmi was one-on-one with Militao, and eventually he ended up testing Courtois from range. And building on this, you could see that the midfield of Real Madrid was lacking conviction in the first half. We were really missing someone like a Modric or Cruz who would retain position, get control in the midfield, help in ball progression, build the attack from the back line, and I think we could have done much better yesterday. The pressing patterns weren't quite right yesterday, and it's quite understandable what the problem was. If we analyze it, it is possible that the profile of the players that we had in the middle were the reasons why we have shown lack of control in the past 2 games. And I'm saying that because when you analyze the profile of Casemiro and Valverde, these are players who are more dependent on the physical aspect of the game. They're very different players from Modric and Cruz, who dictate the tempo of the team, and in order to be effective yesterday, what we really needed was Isco playing at a very good level. He's a player who can be very effective if the play goes through him. The midfield needed Isco to take charge, and had Isco played just like he had in the first half against Levante, I think the balance in the midfield would have been restored. But as we know, that was not the case. Isco could not replicate his sublime performance, and it did turn out to be a bit difficult to control the game. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that if Casemiro and Valverde are playing together, it would be beneficial for Madrid if the third midfielder in the side would be someone who has good ball carrying ability, who likes to keep possession. Isco matches that profile, but as we know, the lack of consistency is the issue with Isco here. And coming to the second half, this was a much better half for Madrid. The game opened up a bit more. Real Madrid had a positive outlook and a positive attitude. Vinicius Jr. was causing a lot of problems. There was the offside goal from Benzema. There was the Bale-Benzema connection in the 52nd minute, which was kept out by a sensational save from Ruiz Silva. And it just felt like Madrid were getting closer and closer to goal. They were looking more sharp in the final third, and we did get a dramatic goal. But truth to be told, Madrid, in the play which led to the goal, had just managed to evade a disaster. Just a few minutes before the goal, there was a mix-up by Militao and Alaba on the other end. Somehow, Wanmi was left with a lot of space with only Courtois and Miguel to beat. You could see here Miguel is trying to cover up for the Betis attacker. He doesn't close in on Wanmi, and that possibly made all the difference. Wanmi could have gone for goal. No one would have even come close to block the shot, but he tries to find his teammate, and to his misery, Miguel showed nice anticipation. He was in the right place at the right time. There was some poor defending by Madrid, but this pattern of play also created a lot of chaos. The teams had lost the structure. Miguel passes the ball to Isco. Isco keeps driving forward and finds Vinicius. Vinicius almost overruns it, but just manages to keep the ball in and passes the ball to Benzema. Benzema had a lot of time in hand. He saw that the defense of Real Betis was ill-structured. He takes his time. He stays calm. He saw Carvajal was making the run into the box, and it was a perfect pass from Benzema. Carvajal was steaming in. He took the shot on the volley. The defense was slow to react, and the ball was placed beyond the reach of the keeper into the bottom corner. Real Madrid won, Real Betis 0, and you could see in the celebration Carvajal was completely pumped up after the goal. As I said earlier, Carvajal had quite a few problems in the first half, but getting the goal was such a relief for him. He has spent a lot of times on the sideline, and now he wants to impress. He wants to make a difference for his team. He wants to show Ancelotti what he can provide to his side, and definitely that goal will surely boost his confidence. But moving on, if we discuss the situation of Vinicius and Eden Hazard, we also in the last few games how Vinicius was a super sub for the side, and obviously Hazard not firing on all cylinders paved the way for Ancelotti to start Vinicius in the starting 11. I honestly had this feeling that Ancelotti would give more time to Hazard to find his feet. We also had questions about how Vinicius would do as a starter, but fair play to the Brazilian. It didn't make it easy at all for the Betis defense. They struggled to cope up with him. Very early in the game, he engineered a chance for Benzema, and up till now this season, he has shown some improvement in decision making as well. So thumbs up to Vinicius. We need him to continue taking these steps forward. And as for Hazard, what does that move from Ancelotti indicate? He was on the bench not due to injury but due to performance, and that definitely is a wake-up call. Ancelotti is sending him a signal that he's not entitled to start just because he's a superstar or a big money signing. He has to earn his place in the side by putting up good performances day in, day out, and that is how it should be. It's this positive competition in the side which makes the team better. It doesn't allow complacency to creep in, and in the long run, that makes a team successful. So overall, we can say it was a good victory away from home. We had some good moments, some not so good moments. Even Ancelotti in the press conference had the opinion that there are still things to improve upon. He said, in the first half, the game was under control, but we could have played with increased intensity. There are many things that we need to improve upon, but things look positive so far. We had an unusual preseason because so many players came late, but I'm fairly pleased. In the early stages, the team was quite direct, but we have to show better intensity from a defensive perspective. And I totally agree with Ancelotti here. Defensively, we kept a clean sheet, but there were some concerning moments. Right at the death, we needed Courtois to come up with a save from Martin Montoya's shot, and had that gone in, it would have been a frustrating night for Madrid. But we can say Real Madrid were little better than Betis, and at the end of the night, they were the deserved winners of the 3 points. So that is all I have here. Do let me know, what were your thoughts from the game? What were the positives and negatives that you picked up on? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you soon. Till then, take care. Glory to Madrid. And as always, a Madrid.